Hello, welcome to another episode on the Talk with Rebbe. Wow, I'm so excited today because we have an amazing, spectacular guest on the show. The guest we have on the show today is a renowned writer who has written for big and top names in the Canadian industry. He has over 25 years of writing experience for several organizations here in Canada. He has written for HP, Microsoft, and BMO, and so many other amazing companies. Today we are going to be discussing a very important topic that I know that people would be curious to learn about this, and having Tony on today's episode to share his experience on this particular topic we'll be speaking on today. It's a privilege, and I want you all, the viewers, to tighten your seatbelt because you are going to enjoy today's episode. But before we get started, I would like to introduce our amazing guest on the show. Thank you so much, Tony, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Please introduce yourself to the viewers. I'd like to know you.
Sure. My name is Tony Cyclage. I'm currently a corporate content writer here in Toronto.
What experience would you be sharing on today's episode with us?
Sure. Well, a lot of what I do now is, writing corporate content such as, blogs and white papers, occasionally press releases and things like that. But what I found is that a lot of what I rely on now actually I lean on my previous experience. So I started out as a newspaper reporter and did that for a few years, and then I wrote for film and TV for about 10 and 12 years. And so it's really the combination of those skills and those skill sets that I find are actually quite applicable to what I'm doing now.
What made you switch careers from being a journalist to corporate communication?
Well, there was a really big step in the middle, and for me, I was working as in journalism and PR. But at the same time, I was joining the local film cooperative in the city that I was living in, and I was making short films and writing scripts. And so while I was doing my sort of, suit and tie day job in journalism and PR, I was also an aspiring writer, screenwriter and filmmaker. And I found that pull really tough because I just felt deep down it was something that I really wanted to do and something that I had to do, but I also knew it was really scary, right? Because it would mean really taking a leap and going for it. And in my case, I just did the math and made the calculation that I would rather try it, even if that means failure, rather than never trying it and always wondering what would have happened. And I think for anybody who's sort of weighing that same dilemma of do I change careers, do I take that leap? I would say yes, with a caveat, which is if you feel deep inside that it's something that you need to do, then you need to do it. But what I would say is you need to be smart about it. Taking that leap to go from journalism to screenwriting, I would definitely do 100 times out of 100 again. I would probably do it a little bit differently, knowing what I know now. And then after that, the next major career transition was when I went from writing for film and TV into corporate communications. And that was something that happened somewhat accidentally, where I had worked with a producer in my film and TV workings who had since transferred over to work for an agency producing corporate videos. And he just called me up one day and said, "Hey, we're really slammed. We have this, major bank that needs a conference video written, and we don't have anybody to do it. you should come do this. And I was the most reluctant. Like, you've never seen anybody fight to try not to get a job. I was like, look, you have the wrong guy. I don't know corporate world. I don't do that. And he said, I've worked with you. I know you can do it. And so that's what happened. And so I started writing corporate video scripts, basically just leveraging the experience I had as a film and TV writer. And it started from there. And what was supposed to be a 2-week stint and ended up being 6 months. And I ended up working on a bunch of other different projects. And that's what really sort of opened my eyes that, oh wow, this is something that, like I said, like there's a lot of things that are transferable.
Yeah, you share this story. Actually, I just saw you seeing yourself in a state of doubt, and then seeing that wow, you're actually very good at this and being a champion at it at the end of the day. And I think that's like one thing about life in general. Like when you want to transition from something you are used to doing and you want to challenge yourself to do other things, you might be scared from the beginning, and at the end of the day, if you give it a try, because actually I don't think there's anything we cannot learn. We just need like proper training from people that probably have an idea about it, and then time, and then the willingness to actually want to do it, and with time you get used to it.
Yeah.
What were the hurdles you encountered when you changed your career? I know it might not be as easy as it seems now, but you definitely had like some hurdles you encountered. So what were they?
Well, I mean, when I went from journalism to writing for film and TV, say that, I mean, there were just basic challenges of finding enough work, being able to make a living, things like that, like all of the starving artist cliches that are out there. You definitely face those. When I went from film and TV to corporate comms, the challenges were finding a way to bring my voice and what I do into that format. Because I knew that I couldn't just come in and say, hey everyone, we're gonna write it, we're gonna do this bank video the same way I did, the half-hour TV comedy script, right? I mean, that just wouldn't fly. So it was really a lot about having to be able to bring my voice and what I can do into that format so that it worked for what they needed, but I could still bring value with my experience and what I could do.
Wow, that's great. Because when people transition from a particular career path to another career path, they could encounter challenges like a very low salary and maybe a change of location, and probably having to start from the scratch, and that's quite challenging. So there's several other challenges you could encounter while you change your career, but at the end of the day you have to ask yourself if it's worth it, if it's worth that sacrifice, what you have to endure for the time being before you settle in perfectly into the new career. If it's actually worth it, then it's okay to actually take that action, and you would look back someday and know that it was worth it. So what benefits you derived from changing your career?
Well, one of the biggest ones was when I started working in corporate communications. Was it provided a sort of best of both worlds between creativity and also stability, because when you are working in the arts in any way, that's always the biggest challenge, right? Like you get to express yourself creatively, which is incredible. It's awesome. It's a fantastic experience. The price you pay for that, though, oftentimes is stability. And so when I started working in the corporate side of it, I found, even though it was different, it was still creative. I was still exercising those same muscles. I was still looking at a corporate video script in terms of how can I make this engaging and entertaining and work. And so those things that you really enjoy from going through the creative process, you're able to do it while still enjoying the benefits of financial stability, life stability, that the creative world can sometimes be challenged to do.
Oh, wow. Would I say lucky you because something you usually do in your previous career, you could actually still, retain that ability, that skill, and transfer it into your new career. And so many people might be able to benefit from this aspect as well because sometimes when you change a particular career, there are some general skills that you might learn in a particular profession, and they are definitely transferable to a different career because it's more like you being able to imagine the operation of how you want to carry out your activities, and it might be in a different perspective, but it might just be the same procedure. So like it's more like your own recipe on how to succeed in that particular career. So everything is just not a waste. It's just how you transfer that skills and make it extremely unique and work for you in your new career paths.
Well, that's what's really most interesting is that when I went into film and TV, I had a lot of people in my life who were shocked and concerned. I was walking away from like I said, a suit and tie PR job into the world of film and television writing, which many people didn't understand. And even looking back on it, I was like, wow, that was quite shocking too. But what they said quite often was, well, what if it doesn't work out though? Like what if it doesn't happen the way you want? And the assumption is that means disaster. But what a lot of people don't realize is that even just for having gone through the journey, just picking up the skills, the experience, like I know for a fact, I would not be where I am now, doing what I'm doing now, with the success that I'm doing it now, had it not been for going through that journey, because I'm bringing something that most others aren't, which is all of those skills and tools. It's like along the journey, you pick up all of these tools, right? And so now, even though I'm not working in the film and TV industry now, and some people could look at it and say, oh, it didn't work out. I look at it now saying, but only because of that journey am I able to succeed now. So if you take that leap, you may not land where you expect, but you don't know where it could. One of my favorite quotes on this is about faith, and it's that faith is daring the soul to go beyond what the eye can see. And that is what I would say to anybody who's considering something like this, is take that leap. You may not land where you expect, but there's an excellent chance you're going to land somewhere good.
Yeah, that's so true. And on a lighter note, I would say that I read one of your articles, and there's a way you infuse kind of phrase that just goes straight to the point and hit the nail on the head. Your writing actually conversational and personal.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say.
What were the steps you took in order to transition from your previous career path? I know that it did not just happen out of nowhere. You took some steps, there was some procedure that could help people out there to know how to navigate this particular situation, which they might be facing right now or would probably face later in the future. Like, what were those procedures, the steps you took?
Yeah, well, so after my initial stint writing corporate video scripts for the creative agency, I went out and I knew that I had to build my own freelance career as a business. And so fortunately around that time, the freelance platform, the online platform were up. So it used to be Elance, now it's like Upwork and platforms like that. And that made it very possible for me to connect with people all around the world looking for people to write for them. So I knew it wasn't a case of I was just going to jump into this, big paying corporate job. I knew that I was going to have to build my own individual business as a freelancer first. And so that took time and effort, but it's also a really, really important step, because you need to make sure that you develop those skills that you didn't have in your previous work and build it up gradually. In fact, the very first client that I found on that was based out of Singapore, and she was an interior designer. And so it's funny, because when I would tell people that I was writing interior design content, they would look at me and I'd say, "What do you know about interior design?" Which I always found a little bit hurtful and insulting. But it was great. It was a great relationship. It taught me how to work with a subject matter expert, and we created some great content, and that led to something else, which led to something else, which led to the first sort of retainer contract with a large corporation, and then that led to something else and something else. And it's a long, sometimes challenging process, but when you're making that change, you can't close yourself off from basically starting at the very beginning and building it up, because it's just what needs to be done.
Wow, that's really spectacular. It's terrific knowing that you actually were proactive in this particular situation even before the big opportunity eventually came in, and that's like a key point for everyone watching today's episode to learn, because sometimes you want to take a big step, you want to challenge yourself to achieve greater things, and sometimes it doesn't just happen by magic. You have to take the first step, even if it's like the tiniest of anything that you have to do on your own first, even before like that particular thing you want to achieve comes into sight. You have to be proactive to equip yourself and prepare yourself for that opportunity, because if you always wait for the right time when that big opportunity comes, guess what? If you are not prepared, it will pass you by. And that's like one thing I would say, that it's okay to learn new things, dedicate your time to practicing those things. In fact, if it's something that you have to not practice or do within the comfort of your home, whereby nobody sees you, because there are different fields and different situations whereby you actually have to go out there and probably make a fool of yourself, do it, because you know where you're going to. You have that vision, you have that mindset in you, you know for yourself where you're going to. So it's all about you, and do not regard what anybody has to say. Just keep working, building yourself and investing and being proactive, and when that big opportunity comes, it's going to make you prepared and you are going to grab it. And then people might think it just happened out of nowhere, or maybe it's just like an overnight success. They did not know that you actually prepared yourself for that particular victory. So it's a very wonderful aspect that I believe that, which I have learned from, and I believe that people that are watching today's episode should also learn from it. What is your greatest achievement in your new career?
Wow, that's an interesting question. It's being able to bring a voice, being able to bring a very human voice to corporate communications, which often struggles in that. The times that I was able to do it with my communications agency, and the times that we were able to do it, in my contract opportunities working with larger corporations. That is really satisfying. That when you see something that otherwise would come across as something that doesn't communicate well, and you're able to kind of bring your voice to it and make it clear and make it engaging, and have people say, wow, this was really, interesting, or this was really informative, or things like that. That is my long way of saying that is what I consider to be the greatest achievement, because it is a very difficult thing to do, but it's something that really quite often needs to be done. Well, I find a lot of times when you're dealing with either corporate communications, or government communications, or higher education, you sometimes forget that the first rule of communications is to communicate. And as simple as that sounds, you would be amazed at like how many times that's not kept in mind. So if I'm writing an online article, I have to find a way to hook them in and keep them in and kind of draw them into the article, and that could mean posing a theoretical question. It could mean starting out with a pop culture reference. It could be something, but you kind of need to bring them in, and then all of a sudden, before they realize it, they're 5 paragraphs in, and now they're in the article and go. So I think being engaging is very important. It's exactly what you were just talking about.
Wow, yes. What is your take on organizations implementing training programs and career advancement opportunities so as to reduce the number of employees that resign from work due to lack of career advancement opportunities? So based on my research, I know that people change careers a lot because the organization they might be working at does not have a very clear pathway to having career development or career advancements for their employees, because you might go into an organization with a very different position, but you definitely have the intention of developing your career based on your qualification and skills. And I believe that organizations should have it in their plan or long-term goals on how they can train their staff and how they can help them transition into their chosen field based on their qualification and skills. And with that being said, I believe that if each organizations have this goal, nobody will have to leave a particular company. What is actually your take on that?
Well, I think that the most successful organizations are the ones that train from within and have those in-house learning opportunities and training opportunities. So even if you hire somebody in one particular role, it benefits the person and it benefits the organization if you are able to train that person up or give them new skills so that they can evolve into a different position and a different role. And oddly enough, one of the articles that I wrote when I was freelancing was on the Costco organization. And one of the most impressive things about that organization is that they pride themselves on promoting people from within. And in fact, there was one senior executive, and I can't remember exactly what title he held, but there was one senior executive who started out as the guy who collects the shopping carts in the parking lot. And he started there and worked his way up, because if you are able to train from within, there is so much savings that, cost reduction savings that a business can find by avoiding the cost of acquisition of new employees, right? Like the constant turnover. If you have a constant churn, if you're a company that doesn't train from within and doesn't give people opportunities and doesn't allow them to grow within your organization, then they're going to do exactly what you talked about, right?
Yeah, they're going to leave.
They're going to leave.
And I believe that most organizations are losing good employees because
100%.
of this. And what advice do you have who wish to change their careers? Those who are planning to change their careers, or those who just recently changed their career, what advice do you have for them?
If it's something that you feel a strong desire to do, then I think you should do it. I think you would regret not doing it much more than you would regret doing it. Now, having said that, my advice is to be smart about it. So I would advise that you definitely do it, that you definitely take that leap, but that you make sure that you protect yourself and are aware of all of the things that you need, because one of the biggest challenges to doing great work is if you if you are just struggling in the basic life necessities and stuff like that makes it very, very, very difficult. And that's what I found early on. So My best advice is if you really feel that it's something that you have to do, and if you're not satisfied and feel that you feel a pull towards a different career path, then 100% you should do it.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your experience on today's episode and for the advice you have given. And I'm very sure that everyone that will watch today's episode, there will be a lot to learn from it. So with that being said, thank you once again, Tony, for being on the show. And on a lighter note, we are going to be playing a game called Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
And if you've done more than 3, there will be a game you play. Maybe a question I'll ask you or something I'll ask to do, and you have to do it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to put 10 fingers up, and if you've done any of it, you put 1 finger down, and if you haven't, you can just leave your fingers up.
Okay, here we go.
Wait. So the first question is, never have I ever forgotten my wife's birthday.
Right, okay.
Fingers up. Wow, that's cool. Okay, never have I ever prepared a meal for my family.
No, I've done that.
Okay, then 1 finger down. Okay. Never have I ever talked to an animal.
Oh no, definitely not. No.
Okay. Never have I ever dreamed about writing.
Oh no, I've definitely done that.
Okay. Never have I ever sent an email to the wrong person.
Oh, 100%. Many times.
Okay. Never have I ever said something to my children that my father once said to me.
Okay, sure.
Okay. Never have I ever thought I was the best writer, for sure.
Oh, never.
Oh.
Not once.
Why?
Obviously, you've never been a writer. You would know the crippling insecurity that goes along with it.
Okay. So I think that is the end of the never have I.
All right, there we go.
question.
5.
And you've done more than 3. So the game you have to play is, so you have to start a sentence with the first initial of your name, which is letter T. So you can start a sentence, just 1 sentence.
Today was a very enjoyable experience.
Wonderful. So now we are going to end a sentence with the letter T.
I do not have a big fear of speaking in public.
I do not have a big fear of speaking in public. You did not end it with the letter T.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said C.
No, T.
Oh, I have to end it with the letter T.
Yeah, it could be a word.
Oh,
You know.
okay. Well then, I do not like the summer heat.
Nice. Okay, then the last one. Use the letter T in the middle of a sentence.
Okay. I prefer coffee to tea.
Nice. Okay, so the second game is just tell a joke about anything. Something that could make me laugh and make the viewers laugh as well.
Okay.
Okay.
A horse walks into a bar. And the bartender says, "Why the long face?" And the horse says, "My wife is dying from an incurable disease."
Oh, okay. I get the joke. Okay.
The old joke is a horse walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Why the long face?" And that's the end of the joke. But
Oh.
someone told me this one time and it made me laugh.
Oh, okay. I hope it made someone laugh as well.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Tony,
Thank you
for
for having
being a guest on the show today, and thank you so much to the viewers for watching today's episode. And I want to also thank the sponsors of today's episode. So the company that sponsored today's episode is Land Republic. It's a real estate company in Nigeria.
Oh,
Yeah, so they sell lands and houses. So I would like to ask everyone watching today's episode, please patronize their services. They have all the required documentation for you to get a very good land in Nigeria, a very good house as well. Thank you so much, Land Republic, for sponsoring today's episode of The Talk with Reby. And I have a gift for you, which I will give you at the end of the show. It's just a little gift from our sponsor to thank our guests for being on the show today. So thank you so much, Tony, once again.
Thank you for the invitation. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and bye everyone. Bye for now and see you in the next episode. Bye.